That's an odd sight, but welcome back YouTube to episode 5 of the house extension, and possibly the final episode in this, where we will reveal the final costings of it. But I've been keeping you up to date in the previous episodes. If you haven't seen this is a part of a mini series. Obviously this is episode 5. Go and watch from part 1 to 5. And it's an enjoyable watch, probably one of the best series I've ever put out there of this. But today, just finished episode 4. I've got to put some grooves in this brickwork because it's painted and the render won't stick to it, so I've got to make a key for it to stick to. Similar to like the key what they've left on the base coat, that's for the second coat to stick to, but nowhere near as coarse as that. Every 150 millimeters, or well, between 100 and 150 millimeters. So I've put a few marks on the wall. Obviously, this is just for video purposes. It doesn't have to be that accurate, but that's what I've got to be doing with the angle grinder. Approximately 5mm deep. Just something for it to key to all across the back wall. So I'm going to get my PPE on and get cracking with that before it rains, because this is the UK. Not impressed. Shouldn't take too long though. What? Friday morning, hence why I'm not at work, because it's half term still, obviously. Another week yet. This wall is drying nicely, but I cheated a little bit. I've now got the dehumidifier on, only just. You can see there just must be some thicker areas where it's struggling to dry, which is fine. No real rush. I only wanted to do it today, but sound. I've taped up, masked up where I need to. Zooming out. Right, I'm gonna now clean up all this floor area. There is a 10mm fall, or yeah, drop between this floor and that floor. However, it does smooth out. It comes back up here. It raises back up, so it's just like a divot, kind of. A little bit. Anyway, it doesn't have to be bang on level, but what I want is it nice and smooth and a flat. Because if we stick down what's called, or put down what's called LVT flooring, it's thin and it wants to be pretty damn flat and level. So I'll just try my best to get it that way. We're using self-leveling compound, even though it's not really self-leveling, it's more of a smoothing compound, I'd say. But because it's going down on asphalt, because it's non-porous, or at least I think it's because it's non-porous, you can't just put any sort of primer down. And after some research, I've already got some of this, but it's SBR. You use that for putting down on the back of paving flags and stuff like that when you're sticking them down. You mix a slurry mix, and that's why I've got it for when I did the flags at the back. But apparently that's the best stuff. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to make sure all this is dust free, and yeah, prime it to, I don't know, around here-ish. And I should be able to float that out when I get some self-leveling compound, hopefully later today. This stuff, as you can see, the difference between them two, it is just literally a diluted PVA mix. We'll go over it with SBR in the places where it's going to have self-leveling, but the rest of it is basically just to keep dust down. It just puts a seal on top of the concrete surface because, yeah, the dust is just galore. But I did it in the garage before painting the garage floor, and it did keep the dust down and just makes it easier to sweep up and stuff. So that is the only reason why that's down there. I suppose it is kind of a sealer, but it's not really doing much. The rest of this floor I have sealed in the past, hence why you can see the complete colour difference, but that's obviously because that's been walked on and it is still pretty tacky, but I don't think I'll be going this far with the self-leveling compound. But that's what I'm doing today. Well, for a little bit before I might take the son to the driving range. if he fancies doing that, get him out for a bit when I go and pick up some self-leveling compound, and I'll do that tonight right before bed, because yes, it's walkable on in 3 hours, but it only fully sets in between 9 and 12 depending on thickness. So yeah, managed to finish chasing out all that from yesterday. Weather's just turned to shit, which is why they're not here today, the renderers, plasterers, but never mind. So I'm going to carry on now, cleaning up and get some of this primer down. I'm using a pretty much neat mix on this, tiny bit. I've diluted it a tiny bit, because obviously with it being non-porous, it's not going to soak in very much, but we'll see what happens after it dries. There's miles too much on that, by the way. I'm going to spread it across. It smells fantastic though. So I'm just going to dilute this matte paint down to pretty much like a 50-50 ratio. 50% paint, 50% water. It's not fully dried yet, but it has fully dried where I need to cut in. So I'm just going to do the cutting in whilst I wait. I did put a pencil mark on an hour ago. Just a fine line pencil mark. And that's how much it's sucked in, well, or dried, so that's, it is flying, to be honest. That, however, I've put miles too much on, and now all it's doing is smearing, so I'm just going to leave it. It hasn't even been on 10 minutes. It gets sick. Once I poured it down, I've got in there as well with it. You can actually see where I've gone again, because the rest of that is all PVA'd. Put too much down, but oh well. The reason why we do what's called a mist coat or a watered down diluted coat is because the plaster is so absorbent, because it's brand new. If you just, to be honest, the rest of this is painted with matte, and I didn't use a mist coat, just 3 coats, done. But if you use a silk paint, because of whatever's in it, the oils or whatever, yeah, it paints on, but when it dries, it'll start to crack and flake away because it's not actually soaked into the surface. So that's why we do a mist coat. A little bit of an update. That's second coat of diluted mist coat, whatever you want to call it. And obviously we're still waiting for that to dry, so that's going on stop now. I don't think that'll be ready today. I've just been messing around in here, taking off them ornaments that were on the wall and filling them in because they're not going back up. Plus that wall needs to be all gone over in white, I think. Yeah, done a little bit more sealing. That is about it. I'm gonna go to golf now with the boy and pick up some self-leveling, so if I get that done tonight or anything else done, I'll catch you back. If not, I'll see you Saturday. That floor is drying out nicely. I said I was gonna leave it till tonight, but because this inside here is taking forever and a day to dry out, I don't think it's gonna be ready today. It's getting there, but it's, yeah. I'm just bored. So the stuff that I've got is this Mapai renovation screed. It's got fibres in it for reinforcing it. It's flexible. I believe it can be used over pretty much everything. It doesn't say anything about asphalt though, so that's not helpful. It says screed and plywood and concrete and all sorts of stuff. So for this, it says 4 to 4.5 litres of water to 1 bag. I'm just going to mix 1 bag and see where we get to. I'm not going to do the other one because I'm going to leave a walkway to get in the kitchen and that for the rest of the day. But yeah, I've got myself a spike roller. That's Dad's. Just needs a pole putting in it. But that, you get it to something like, and you run that through it. It brings the air to the surface and clears the air bubbles. So it just helps it settle and go off. Don't breathe it in. Should be wearing a dust mask. Do as I say, not as I do. Right, after this we've got that 1/2 litre extra to put in. Mix it on a low speed. You don't want any lumps in it at all. And it's also not advised to use a cordless drill either with a paddle mixer, which my dad does have, but I've failed to pick it up. That's all mixed now. It says leave it to settle 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know if that's a lump or not, I'll have to get rid of. But yeah, 2 or 3 minutes, mix it again, and then basically pour it on and work it. Now apparently it's not that easy to use this. People make it look easier than it is, so I'm sure we're going to find out, aren't we? All I can tell you is that bucket, this bucket is heavy. Right, that's all I'm going to put down for now, about half a bucket full, and I'm just going to try and work that. You can see it, it's trying to find its own level. I hope the air bubbles are not lumps. To be honest with you, it's kind of finding its own height. It's kind of took itself out of the brickwork and just slowly making its way down there, which, yeah, I'm going to probably let this set before putting the second bag of mix on, just to see where it actually ends up and see what the fall's like afterwards. That's something like what I want. See how this bugger looks. A lot of it is, well, obviously this is the highest point this here. So I've built up the brick slightly, but it's still not high enough. A lot of it sloped into that corner and floated out the rest of it down there. I still think it's a good 2 or 3 mil lip there. I may try and smooth that out a little bit more, but on my next pass, I'll put a little bit more on there, build it up just slightly, because there's not as much to lose over there, I don't think. And if I need another bag, I need another bag, but got to give that now 3 hours. And then I think you can put another one on, but I'll just double check the instructions on the bag. That is about as much as I can get done, obviously, with one bag. You can see now, I need to wait for that to dry so I can put my spirit level on and see what else needs happening. Might need more over here. Definitely needs, obviously, this side floating out as well. But we'll just have to see. One most important thing is, 1, keep the dog away from it. Stay there. And 2, make sure you wash all your stuff after use. Here's my little dog barricade. Now, it's pretty much gone off, but not, you wouldn't walk on it like. Now, as you can see, it's far from level. But what my aim wasn't to get it level, it was to get it flat. It's probably wants about 1 mil just here, all the way in a line across there. It's pretty damn flat, that. The reason why I wasn't interested in getting it flat is because the whole room, the further you go that way, the level, it's hard to see where he's going. Do you know what I mean? It's constantly the wrong fall, so I just wanted it flat and not so much as a ramp here, because you could feel the ramp on the carpet that was down even before all this. So especially if we get like LVT flooring, it would not like passing over that, and you'd see it, whereas I don't think you'll see it now. I've floated it out. Whether I do the rest of it tonight, I'm not sure, but other than that, I'm going to call it a day for now with the filming, because this is, like I said, nowhere near, well, it's not far off, but I can't paint it. It's Friday night. I want a break from all this crap. So I'll catch you tomorrow. Saturday afternoon, just got a couple of coats of your whitewash on, your diluted matte white paint. That bit took a little bit longer to dry, so that's only had 1 coat. And obviously same there, it's not fully dried yet, so it looks worse on the camera than it actually is. Last night, managed to get another screed floated out. You can just about see it over there. It's tucked down the hump a little bit. We should be able to get over it, providing I lay the planks going that way. If I laid them that way, eventually it put enough strain on it, it'd snap, I think. But if I try and finish a joint just on the top of this hump, it should float back. It's not actually that much, but that is a job for another day anyway. I may end up putting some more self-leveling down. I only had 2 bags. That'll do for now. Carpet's back over it. Currently hot boxing the place, trying to get it to dry out a bit faster. You shouldn't really do this, but I'm impatient. Should let it dry out naturally. Most of in there is pretty much dried. It looks actually darker on the camera, the wet bits, than it really is. But as I said, I was more bothered about this kitchen. This kitchen's now ready for its 2 coats, 3 coats of silk. And again, they look darker on the camera than they really are. And I'll be able to get the radiator on and connected up. There is said radiator, it's just the old one that was on already. I'm not bothering buying a new one. There's nothing up with that. So that's me back to painting. I hate painting so much that when I go to hell, that is definitely what the devil's gonna have me doing every single day. 24 hours a day, no doubt. I absolutely despise it. I have put, albeit it hasn't really taken, because that's silk paint. I've put matte over the top of it just because it was grey, because we're obviously going to paint all that wall white as well, or whatever colour the wife wants. But if I can get it all white for now, with a base coat on, whatever we go over, it should be easier than going over with grey. But that's only a first coat. It looks horrendous on the camera than it actually does in person. But you see, it's not dried just there. But that is only 1 coat. I'm hoping the next coat will stick a bit better and it'll look a bit flatter and not as runny. But the runs are smooth, do you know what I mean? They're not drips. Just where it's ran down the wall. Anyway, I'm gonna get cracking painting and I'll catch you back tomorrow, because all I'm gonna be doing today is painting, and I'll show you where I've got up to. Right, Sunday evening. Obviously the clocks went back last night, so I've lost time. Not managed to whitewash everywhere like I wanted to this weekend, because just certain things ain't drying, so I basically had to go around them. As soon as I put a layer of paint on, even though it looks dry, the dabs start showing through. But they did that yesterday over there and they've gone now, so it is what it is. Most of it has been whitewashed with paint, but because it's gone dark, it's hard to show you. In the kitchen we have a radiator. I piped it up last night, job done. Connected up under there to the speed fit that used to go to the old conservatory window, and that's all silked, so washable paint. Finished, light switches back on and cleaned. Well, they were always on, but screwed back. And yeah, that in here is just ready for skateboard. You can tell I've been painting. I tried a different tactic today. So I've been trying dehumidifier, Anna, for a few days to try it out. Then I thought I'll try dehumidifier and fan heater. That did help. And then I thought, let's try ventilation. So I cracked open the velexes, opened the back door, and let it blow around for, don't know, 3-4 hours. Didn't make a blind bit of difference. When I came back, still the same patches were still wet. So I'm just gonna have to wait, to be honest. It is what it is. I wanted, ideally by the end of this weekend, I wanted to get the ceiling finished, as in 2 coats of whitewash, 2 coats of matte or silk, and then that would have been it, ceiling boxed off, because we haven't picked the wall paint, so couldn't do any more on that. But never mind, it is what it is. I'll catch you tomorrow where hopefully the plasters will be it. That is all weather depending, obviously, for the outside. If they're not, they're not, and I'll be no doubt painting. Monday lunchtime, and that's what we're looking like inside here. Still need a good number of coats yet on it, and still need for certain places to dry out properly. However, the renders are here, plasters are here. Crappy starts in the morning, it absolutely tanked it down. But yeah, they've got a coat on there, that's K-Ren stuff. Just needs to firm up now before they can flatten it back, and it should look something like that when it's finished. So they've managed to get that on. The scratch coat, base coat, is on that wall as well. Did I tell you I went a bit too low with the grinder? It won't matter, I'll sort it out. I don't know how, but I will. And they've obviously got a coat on this wall as well. Nothing's been done at the front. I don't know why. Maybe they just didn't want to hit too many things at once. Plus they'll have to come back to do that when that's dry anyway. So I suspect today they've gone off for the dinner. Let that firm up. I suspect they'll come flatten that off, that other wall off, and then come back another day to finish that and that. Weather depending. Tuesday, dinner time now. Didn't get a chance to get back out here and show you the finished surface because it went dark and you wouldn't be able to see it, but they've yeah, got the rest of the coats on. Just gone for the dinner now, waiting for that to set before they can scratch it off and tidy it up. But that is ultimately what it's going to look like when it's finished. All around here done. There's a lot of wastage with K-Rend because that's just stuff what's fallen off from the first scratch coat. Wait till it's set even more. You end up with bags and bags of like just the surface dust or top layer. Like, look at that. Just, I don't know, a lot of waste in my opinion. But I've seen this before on jobs, so I think it's just the way it is kind of thing. That window will look better when it's painted black. But overall, it's brightened it up a lot in this corner because it was very dark. I'll try and get a finished clip before it goes dark tonight, hopefully. Kind of see it taking shape now. It's just a shame about the colour of them two windows. And inside, I've got a coat of silk paint on the ceiling. Needs another 1 or 2 coats, but I'm still waiting for bits to dry. Most of it has dried now, like that's had a couple of coats of matte on it, but waiting to decide what the wife wants for final paint colour. Still waiting for bits in here to dry, albeit it is getting there now, that slowly. It's probably the last bit. I think that is actually the last bit to dry. A couple of these have only had 1 single coat on them yet. Finally started to cover up that grey. But yeah, inside just been painting. I've run out of paint now, however. So I'm guessing the only update you're going to get tonight is going to be or tomorrow morning, is going to be the final reveal of the finished K-Rend outside. Nothing much is going to go on in here now for the next couple of days, I wouldn't have thought. Get you a quick snap before it goes dark. However, it never looks too dark on the camera. But that is absolutely mega. Actually, it's only the windows where I'm letting it down with the colours. But yeah, it is white. Apparently in the next couple of weeks it starts to actually bring out the white in it. But the minute it looks magnolia. Even if it stayed that colour, I wouldn't be too bothered. I actually quite like it, but it's going to brighten up a little bit more as time goes on. Bloody beautiful, mate. Looks so much better now, it's all one colour. Made up that that's been done, because I did not expect that to get done before Christmas as well, because I kind of wasn't really bothered about it. What is going on? Right, I've not checked in for a good couple of days now. It's now Thursday morning. Yesterday I had to work. I've been at work this morning as well, so that's why I've not checked in, but I'll show you where we're at. We've got some paint on the walls. That is still drying, I hope. I can see patches on the camera, whereas in person, I can only see that little bit there. I'm hoping it's not going to need a second coat because I'm flying through the paint. I've not cut in yet. You should really cut in first, but I'm going to buy a cutting in tool and I haven't got it, which is the only reason for not cutting in first. If I have to roll over the top to try and smooth it out, then I will have to do that. So all these walls are knotted twine, silk, Dulux. That's some second tin. There's the other one. And I've not even managed to do 2 coats everywhere yet. Yesterday we managed to pick up the floor. We did pick some from B&Q, but when we got there, they'd run out of stock. And then when we checked stock levels, they weren't going to get any more in, so that was a bit of a waste. Then we went to Howden's where they had some stuff, but it was rigid, which means it's like this, but then got another layer underneath, which was, I think it was MDF layer underneath that, which I thought, if any water gets through these joints and onto the MDF, surely it'll swell. and then the joints start popping. So that's not the stuff I wanted. I wanted this stuff. Now this has already got the underlay stuck to the bottom, so you don't need any underlay with this one. Underlay. And yeah, I've got enough, and it was £16 something plus VAT per square metre, so it was actually cheaper than the 24 quid one from B&Q. So a win right there, plus the B&Q one needed an underlay as well. So we've got all the floor, that's ready. Obviously we've got the smoke alarms, which can interlink together. So put one in the hallway, put one in the extension. They're just lap. Sockets, nothing fancy. Most of the time they get hidden behind stuff. And there's our tilt down lights, light switch, and our outside lights. So that's all ready for the Sparky when he gets back off his holiday. James, hurry up. But yeah, just painting in here for the minute. Yesterday, because it wasn't raining, it was quite decent weather. I put the outside tap back plate in, sorted out that waste pipe so it's actually terminating properly into the gully. Screwed up the down pipes as well. That's what it's looking like from the outside now. It definitely is brightening up. It just was looking a bit like magnolia, now it's starting to look white. The only problem is it's making the rest of the house look crap, but I can't afford to do anymore. Show you around the other side. Big catch up this time. Got rid of the trestles, just need to get rid of the planks because we don't need them anymore. That gutter's down pipes obviously put on. Still waiting for the eco drains to run round and in, but there's nothing hard and fast about that. Bin shed is now back up as well. Screwed up. Yes, the tile slates are on wrong. As you can see, I've put them long ways here, short ways there. It is only for aesthetics. It does keep the rain out purely because, well, it did have felt under it. Now I've put visqueen under it purely because I've visqueened it, so it does keep things dry under there, but it's only for show really. Yeah, it just looks better than the bins just being stood there. So that's back up. And the big news is all the slates have gone. I've sold them this morning. A reclaim yard has come and picked them up. There's a pile of them here that are either cuts or broken that he couldn't use. I actually estimated we had about 800 there, and they offered me £1.50 per slate, so I was buzzing with that. And when he came, basically he's paid me 1,250 quid. That's including minusing all them, so I was absolutely ecstatic with that. 1,250 quid for some slates, which when next door had their roof done, they just threw them straight in the back of the truck, smashed them up. Little win right there. He'll sell them, he reckons, for £2.70, £3, so he'll make a profit on them, and that's just probably going to pay for the rendering outside, or the materials for the rendering outside. That's going to be where that's going, because like I say, after that I've paid all my debts and I have no more money to throw at this place, so I can't afford skirting boards, radiator, the electrician. Can't afford any of that now. I need to get back to work, which will be next week after this half-term break. I'm just going to carry on painting now. If I get the cutting in tool, I'll show you that and how that works, and show you the painting with a bit of look finished today, but I'm not sure. I've now got the shitty task because the missus don't like the green anymore. This is going to go same colour as that in there. I've taken these off and I pinned them and glued them. They are coming off though, pretty handy. Except that top one, but that shouldn't really matter. I'll just have to cut into that one. As long as it carries on like this, I'll be happy. They came off better than I expected. Just a little tiny bit of filling, which is fine. I thought about sanding that down, but I don't really need to because they're going back on them. I've numbered them all up as I've took them off, so I don't really need any filling. I thought I forgot to show you that the heating pipes in the attic I have connected up. They're up there with them 2 lever valves on. They're to the old circs that used to be in the cylinder in the attic, which is what the 2 pipes were. And yeah, clipped down, connected in, so that it's live up to them valves there, ready for when we get the radiator on. It is now Saturday morning and I've kind of Done a little bit of progress without letting you know. I got some of the floor down, or most of the floor down. The dog's been scratching up the grass at the back garden and bringing it in. I started this yesterday, just did a little bit. I've worked out that, obviously, I wanted a joint here for this little, hopefully it'll ride over this little hump. So that should land about perfect, which meant that I had a 45mm cut here, which I've not done that one yet, but I've done the other two. And I put my packers in because there needs to be a gap around the outside for expansion, obviously. With the expansion gap on this side, I've just basically kind of guessed because the skating board's going to cover all that anyway. So some of them are bigger than others. Oh, that one would have been a bit touch and go, wouldn't it? But it was getting dark at that time, so I probably couldn't see. With the painting, I obviously should have cut in beforehand doing the floor, but I was waiting for my little tool, which has arrived 7 o'clock last night. Thank you, Amazon. It's got 2 little wheels on, so basically you push it into your corner and glide it up. There's a pad on the other side, so you dip it in your paint and then glide up. I don't know how good it's going to be. We shall find out. We'll see how good it's going to be shortly. But all I'll have to do is get that towel down, sheet up this floor for the ladder so I don't scratch it, or get paint on it, and then yeah, I'm going to spend all day now cutting in. Well, all morning cutting in. That needs cutting in as well, if the camera's going to focus. Is it going to focus? Yeah, cutting all that so I can put them slats back on, so then that's finished. And I'll show you when I get into that room, the floor, how it goes down, and why I'm not 100% happy with it, and how hard it is to cut. Because on the videos, it looks like you just score it with a Stanley knife, snap. It is currently Wednesday morning. I haven't filmed anything since the weekend. Although we do have progress, like the lights are up. Obviously Sparky's been back. We've got our smoke alarm in now. Started putting on, or back on, these wooden slats as the feature wall. The rest of them are under there. Because they've been trying to clean it, or the wife's been trying to clean off the silicone. Or the adhesive from the back just so they sit a bit flatter. So that's what takes the time then. Obviously sockets are on. Radiator is now on and piped up. Just needs a little bit of sanding and then I can put, well, painting and sanding, I can put my pipe cover on. Both sides are there. It's only a dinky little radiator, but she wouldn't let me have any bigger. She hates she hates radiators. But it's been on for the last few days and it's lovely and warm in here. Obviously it should be with the amount of insulation what's in here. Not actually finished cutting in properly. Most of it is done but it just probably wants a second going over in some places. And I have continued through with the floor. However, there's a big problem. So obviously we had this little hump here, didn't we? I say we, I'm passing the blame. We're all included in this now because it's a fuck up. There was a hump there and I assumed putting a board on it, it would ride over, which it has rode over, but because the hump is directly on the centre of this board, I don't know if you can make that out, it's rocking side to side. And when you walk over it, it's highly annoying. Just because you can feel it, it doesn't do anything, you just feel it. Down this end, we don't have any movement. Obviously I'm still underlay at the minute, but there's no movement, so I left it at first and carried on because I thought hopefully it'll settle. With the boards being so thin, they do bend a little bit. I mean, I can't do it one-handed. I wondered whether it would settle down. If that curves and bends to the shape of the hump, it may settle down, but that's a gamble, isn't it? and I've already got myself right the way down to here, and the only reason why I stopped is because there's another hump here, like someone's asphalted over a sandbag or something. It's just literally right there. No idea why, no idea I'm going to sort it, because I don't really want to put more screed down for the sake of just one hump there. Don't know if to try and grind it off. Speaking of grinding it off, I think I'm going to take up all this floor back to that hump, and try and grind it off just on this board right the way along. See if I can just get it flatter. Zoom out a bit, shall we? However, they don't come back up so good, because when you put it in, I'm not showing you a video of laying this yet. When you put it in, it goes in like laminate that way, but these joints here, you hammer in with a rubber mallet. So it's them joints which don't come back up so good. I mean, they do come back up, but it leaves a crease. It doesn't, you can't really reuse them in my opinion. And you could try and warm them up with a heat lamp, your heat gun or something to try and get it away. But because they're all laid that way, I think I can potentially take them all up from the front. That layer, you know what I mean? Because I can lift it, because it doesn't break this joint, it's just that joint, and leave them connected together that way. That makes sense. Right the way until I get to this here, and just see if I can do anything with it, because I know it's going to drive me insane. I really do think it's going to drive me insane. It's my mistake. Hindsight, yes, should have had the whole lot self-leveled, but we didn't. So let's start taking this floor back up. Not hammered that one in, you see, so that's why that's not broken. At least I don't think so. If that's the way they all come out, then I'll take that, because it can obviously all be reused. I'm not sure, there's a crack along there, but it's this edge what was breaking off when I've took them up before. It's going to be a long process. To be fair, they've all come up. I've just left them all up in rows. Where else am I going to put them? But it's right here. It's that line there, which is the hump, which is not ideal. I'm wondering whether there was any damp course under them bricks. Because obviously this was a doorway at some point, weren't it? I didn't knock it out like, but it just looks like it was a bit damp. I mean, it looks horrendous on the camera. It looks a lot darker than it really is, but thankfully the floor is plastic. But I think I'm going to have to try and sand some of that off with the grinder. As I said, here you can see there's just no hump at all. It is just literally this section, which I need to try and flatten out a little bit, and that one over there. Not good, but I think I've managed to take out that hump now. As I said, that end was alright. I'm going to hoover up a bit more, drop the board back in, and just see if the rock's gone. I expect there'll be a little bit of rock, but not as excessive as it was. Hopefully. If not, I'll have to take some more out. I know you can't tell on the camera, but James, electrician, if you're watching, how much better is that? Man, I wish I'd just ground it off in the first place. However, when you start putting them in, it doesn't actually look like it's going to be too bad. It was only when I started going on the rows, I thought, and then I just got too involved then. I was like, oh shit, it's too late now. That is loads better. I am so happy I took it up. So happy. Perfect. The only problem is I've got to get them all back down and grind down that hump if I can. This is all before 8 o'clock. I've got 45 minutes and I've got to be going out school run, so I've got to clean it up, a big clean up, including myself. Can't remember where I actually got up to, but I've managed to get all these back in now, up until the point where I was before, pretty much ish. I think I've left the row off because one of the cuts are there. I've shaved that off now, that hump. Don't get me wrong, there's still a little bit of a hump there, but most of it is gone, I think. We'll find out when I put a board on it. Doesn't feel as raised up as it did. Well, it can't be, because obviously took all that out. I decided to grind it and then knock the bits off with a hammer and chisel, and then just try and smooth it out with the side grinding. It's better than it was. My next concern is this thing goes to wood, and there's a lip there which I don't like. However, looking at it, I think that wood actually flicks up because it looks like it sinks down there, so I might actually cut that section off and put something else down in its place, a bit thinner, so it's flat with that. That's going to be tonight's job. It definitely goes down. That's not as bad as I thought then, that. But I need to get this flooring done this week because the skating boards are getting done next week, and the building inspector's going round for, you can sign it off then for completion. Got the outside lights on. There's one there and one hiding away up there. As I said, it just needs a little bit of touching up with the paint, but other than that, it really is getting there now. It's dust everywhere though. As I said, I'm going to show you how this clicks together floor works. You're supposed to be able to score it with a Stanley knife. You can do, but it takes multiple scores. So I've just been using the cut-off tool from Milwaukee. Just a zzz. There's not much dust involved in that, and it snaps dead easy then, and you can get it in. Because you need the cut-off tool for your long lengths, especially like that one there. I mean, look at how thin it is going down there. To be fair, it's not landed very well, that, but you can't get it to land perfect everywhere. No one's going to stand on that little trim there. It's pretty much perfect everywhere else. As I said, I'm made up that we've managed to get rid of that hump. Probably could have done it with a bit more. Maybe around there. But it's definitely 100 times better than it was. You don't actually stand here, that's the thing, because the dining table goes there. It was just that alleyway, really. Anyway, I'm rambling on now. I need to get back to work. I've just nipped home for my dinner. So I'll see you tonight, hopefully, when we're doing the floor. Hopefully I'll be doing it tonight. So cut that floor out now, and if I run the level across it without shit under it, it's there or thereabouts. Whereas before that side was way higher when it reached this lip. So I'm just going to cut a new piece out, level it across, and that'll be sound then for carrying on through into there with the flooring. Tuesday morning, miles after I've last recorded anything, purely down to the fact that all I've been doing is the floor and the door thresholds. Not a lot has actually changed. Spin you around and show you what's what. So yeah, we finished all the flooring. It's just waiting for skating boards now. Door thresholds are on, both there and there. Now, because there's a big height difference between the hallway, because it's tiled and it's on webby board, I couldn't really find a threshold to suit. That chip was already there. I need to fill it in with black. I'll show you why I need black shortly. But I've basically just scribed a piece of flooring down, so when you actually stand back, it blends in. I'm happy with that. We finished the rest of that feature wall. That's all back up and done. Again, skating boards needed. Yeah, other than that, it's all pretty much done. I am going to fill along this edge here, you know, this cut edge. It's got clear in at the minute. That was just to hold it with a nice black bead, chamfered bead. But I haven't got any black silicone, which is why I'm going to fill that tile with. But other than that, skating boards are due to be done on Thursday. Building inspector's coming on the same day to, with a bit of luck, sign it off for completion. And that's him done. Once the skating board's on, they need painting, which is why, by the time you've seen this, it'll have already been past the date. But I'm not going to get this video out on the Thursday I wanted to. It's more than likely going to be the following Thursday. Never mind. The plan for the room is going to be storage units here with like a media unit for the telly. That's why the socket's up there, but the camera won't focus. Wood burner is actually, she's decided on this side, if we eventually get one, that's where it's going. And like a corner slash couch on this side, excuse the washing. Yes, you shouldn't dry washing in the house, it causes a damp atmosphere, but when you've got dehumidifier and a radiator, it dries it absolutely rapid. But I don't think you'll need to see it furnished. It would be good too, but I won't be able to make a video out of it. I may just put a couple of pictures up on my channel homepage when it is actually furnished and done, and then you can see the final result. So the next time you see me, it'll be Thursday after the skating boards are done, and it should start to look complete. I'm sorry for the delay in videos, but there's not a lot changed. Thursday afternoon, my cousins have just been and finished the skating boards. We went for, I think it's called a half round, isn't it? I think that's what skating board's called, because that's the new style, even though the rest of the house is Taurus. Just Mrs. doesn't like Taurus. She says the dust collects on the grooves and it's a pain to clean, whereas these obviously just can wipe over them. All nice and filled, sanded down, happy days. That wall was always a mile high. You can see it's like a banana. However, shortly next year, I'm going to knock this out and put that door here and basically make a small utility room and change that into a smaller bedroom. But that's a job for another day, which is why I wasn't overly asked about this section. Just needed putting on to tidy it up, really. Yeah, kitchen's done as well. Just needs a bit of a white putting in there, obviously, because I took that tile off, expecting the skating board to cover it, but it hasn't. It won't matter when it's filled. And I think I'm going to go around here at the bottom with a bead of clear, because obviously you don't want, when you're mopping or anything, you don't want any water going up behind the skating board or the skating board soaking it up. Dog's ready to come in. That is looking absolutely mega. So all I've got to do now on this lot is paint it and furnish it. And that is it. It's complete. The building inspector's been, he's happy. Should be signing it off. So that'll be all sorted. And the moment you've all been waiting for, the big price reveal. So what does it cost to get us up to here? Not including any paint or anything, because I didn't bother putting paint on. Let's say 50 quid for paint, but not including the paint. So that's including the floor, the whole roof, and whatever else you've seen. 34,500 is the complete cost of this lot. And I think that's pretty good, to be fair, including the whole roof. I think normally a single story extension, it's like, yeah, the average about 30 grand, but obviously we've had the roof done as well, so I will take that. So I just want to thank every single one of you for watching this series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been educational and been entertaining. And if you have, don't forget to subscribe, because we may have more of this type of work coming up, albeit not in my own house. We'll see, to film. I, for one, and I've read through the comments, and you as well, are going to miss it, and you've enjoyed it. Loads of people are saying attic conversion. Nah, not yet anyway. On that note, I'll see you up next one, which will be plumbing, no doubt. Thanks for watching. Catch you in a bit.